Hello everyone, thank you all for joining today's edition of Critical Experiences that Elevate Your Career. I'm sitting today with Dr. Jason Bolton, who's going to give us a perspective of critical experiences from an academic perspective. Jason?
Hello, my name is Jason Bolton. I'm a food safety specialist and the academic director of innovation engineering at the University of Maine.
Perfect. And Jason, when did you kind of understand or realize that you wanted to go into an academic role?
I think I figured that out towards the end of my PhD. I worked with quite a few food companies, and I really liked the academic interaction with those food companies. And so when this position opened up within the cooperative extension at the University of Maine, I realized it was the perfect blend between industry but also working in academia and research and being able to help large and small companies all throughout New England. So that's when I really realized that this was a great opportunity.
Oh, excellent. And so even as an academic, you're still kind of really involved and in tune with the goings about within the industry? Yeah.
So my position requires me to understand the latest research and or perform that research in order to better food companies in the state of Maine and also in New England. And so it's a great blend between research, teaching, because I still work with students and teach courses, and then also being relevant within the industry and helping those companies get going or solve problems.
Perfect. And when you decided that you wanted to go the academic route, were there any experiences that you felt were necessary to really prepare you to make the jump into like a professor or academic role?
Well, having good mentors, I think that's one of the biggest things. When people say, you know, what are some of the helpful tools to being a successful academic, I think having a good mentor is really important, both at a faculty level but also at an administrative level. And I've been lucky enough to have several of those throughout my career thus far, over 8 years right now. So that was really helpful. And then also having good colleagues and then good contacts, being able to network and talk to people and say, okay, you know, I don't know that. I know I'm an expert in that, and I don't know that, but I'm going to find out the answer. So not being afraid to say, I don't know, but I can research that and find it out.
Right. And I know as I was going through grad school, several classmates of mine were also interested in going the academic route, and they were really kind of toying with the idea of doing a postdoc. Is that something you would recommend?
I didn't do a postdoc, but I think that they're a great experience, especially if you want a different experience within academia. So you're working at one institution and you want to go to another institution for a short period of time. Or if you're working at the same institution, you go on a postdoc at that same institution, and then you just want a different experience, different research project. You want to manage a research project. You want to work with and collaborate with different faculty or students. So that gives you that opportunity without jumping directly into an academic position. It just depends upon the individual. I think it's a great experience from what I've heard.
And in an academic role, you do have the responsibility of mentoring students and teaching students. How did you really get prepared for that responsibility?
Once again, it was seeing what other faculty were doing, having good mentors myself as a student, and then also, once again, as an academic. And then a lot of it is figuring out what works and what doesn't work. So sometimes you'll teach something and realize, geez, this didn't go over well. And so being able to continue to innovate and change and adapt to what the student needs are. And as students have changed over the last 8 years, I've adapted the courses and changed the way I mentor or teach the students. And then also allow them to fail and say, okay, that's okay, time to do something else, and we'll figure out that next thing.
Yeah, and you mentioned, you know, in a teaching position, sometimes things don't work. Can you give us an example of something that didn't work?
Sure. So I taught a new course this semester called Food Safety Systems, and it was all about FSMA and the new different trainings that go along with FSMA, preventive controls, HACCP, things like that. And we adapted a couple different models directly from the industry courses that I teach, and I realized that the students didn't respond to that well. And so we had to figure out some other ways. I co-teach it with another faculty. We had to figure out some ways so that the students understood it, because they had zero industry experience. And we teach these courses for industry members. So we readapted it, made it so that they would come up with their own experiences, and they kind of adapted that way, and it worked out really well. So they came up with their own situations where they could see applying this knowledge, and that worked out a lot better than what we were trying to do before, force this industry knowledge that they had no clue of what was going on.
Oh,
so yeah, it worked out really well.
Excellent. And as you're kind of moving through your career as an academic, are there any other critical experiences that you would either encourage you know, new academics to think about and kind of incorporate into their career pathway?
Yeah, I think collaboration with folks outside your department is also really helpful. Even if it's outside your university, those type of collaborations I think have been really helpful to learn things. If there are options for trainings, if there's options for additional education, take advantage of those. Take advantage of as many opportunities as possible, especially with IFT. IFT has a lot of different trainings and different work groups that you can work with and meet a lot of really interesting people, and you can learn from them. And then also as much experience as you can have interacting with industry, especially if you're an academic. You don't want to ever get to the point where what you're doing doesn't matter to the folks that actually are going to try to utilize it, which is industry and clients and customers. So I think that's really important. And then the last thing is if you're given the opportunity for some sort of administrative role, take advantage of it if possible. And make sure you get enough training to do that if you are going to get into administration. Because jumping in from purely an academic researcher teacher into administration there's a big difference between those things, and you want to get as much training in administration as possible before you jump into it. So.
And how does somebody go about beginning to get that type of training?
A lot of it for the University of Maine, we had faculty fellows, so it was training in leadership. And so I took essentially a year-long training in leadership to understand how that works and some of the ways of communicating with people, communicating with legislature, things like that. That was really helpful. And also just communicating as a non-academic. So if you're trying to communicate to the general public, there are certain terms and certain ways you have to word things, otherwise the general public won't understand the value of what you're doing.
And let's say your institution may not have a formal kind of program such as that. Do you know of any types of other opportunities in order to kind of build those foundational skills that you're talking about?
I would say contact IFT. I know that they have all kinds of different programs, and I'm sure there's something they can find that would help out that particular faculty member. Excellent, excellent.
Well, thank you all for joining this edition of Critical Experiences That Elevate Your Career. Again, thank you, Jason, for joining me. And we look forward to the next critical experience to help you elevate your career.